With us moving towards a world where we are handing over more and more authority to AI models in order to make decisions for us, we must define what good and bad actions are to train these AI models with, so that way it represents our best interests. With that being said, Symbiotics proposes that good and bad actions are defined by how they affect coherence within their environments. Axiom 4 is as follows. Coherence, balance, is the structural condition that enables life to propagate or prosper within a system. System coherence is determined by stability, growth, novel adaptability, recursive adaptability, and information and material networks, all evaluated in the context of the system's environment. The first-order logic for Axiom 4 can be stated as such. For every system S, its coherence is determined by the value of a function combining its stability, growth, novel adaptability, recursive adaptability, information, and material networks, measured relative to the demands and constraints of its environments. The environment of an observed system is defined as the unity of parent, peer, and exogenous systems relative to the observed system. With coherence defined as the optimal state that a system pursues to stay in, we can now define what good and bad actions are. In Axiom 4.1, Symbiotics declares that actions that enhance coherence in a given system are good. Those that degrade it are bad. The overall coherence of a system depends on the net sum of all good and bad contributions from its actors measured relative to its environments. The first-order logic for Axiom 4.1 can be stated as such. For every system S maintains a state of coherence if and only if, given the environment of S, the sum of its actors' good contributions exceed the sum of its actors' bad degradations. Some key takeaways to consider now that we've defined good and bad actions is that a good and a bad action are relative. That means that the same action can be good or it can be bad depending on the environment that a system finds itself within. With good and bad now defined, we can now apply symbiotics to real-world scenarios that are famous in philosophy, like is it okay to steal a loaf of bread if your family is starving at home? In the loaf of bread example, we'll treat your family as a system within the system of society, and you are an actor within the system of your family. In this case, stealing that loaf of bread is good for the greater system of your family. That being said, it can be argued that stealing the loaf of bread is bad for the society as a whole. However, it can be argued that feeding your family serves as a net positive to society. That's because your family are contributors to the greater system of society, and by making sure that they are healthy, they can continue to contribute to that coherent system. And so the question really comes down to, by stealing that bread, is your family able to continue acting as good actors overall in the system that they operate within? Additionally, symbiotics recognizes the nesting of systems and the existence of relationships between systems relative to their environment. That means that we can examine anything down to single-celled organisms up to the cosmos level and apply the same good and bad criteria in all cases. Systems have peer systems acting within the greater parent system, where everyone is working together in order to make sure that the parent system is healthy. And additionally, there are exogenous systems that are not related to the system you are observing relative to its parent system. That being said, even exogenous systems might be peer systems relative to an even greater system up above. Because AI models will continue to be used to further shape the future of the world, it is of the utmost importance that we take the time to create concrete definitions that are machine-learnable to describe our philosophical principles. This is a huge endeavor, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do it with me. Please like and subscribe and share this video if you think that this is an important endeavor. I hope you have a great day.